Did you know that in the last 7 days there was 143 price reductions here on Oahu? Today, let's take a look at how you can navigate a price reduction conversation with your clients. Some call it matured listings, others call it stale listings. Let's call it what it is: overpriced. Now, according to the National Association of Realtors, the number 2 reason why homes failed to sell is because the sellers didn't adequately prepare the home. They didn't use a neutral decor. Perhaps they didn't pack up all the clutter or work with you and/or a staging professional to give it that model appearance. But the number 1 reason why homes failed to sell, take a guess. You guessed it, overpricing. Now, there's lots of reasons why homes do get overpriced, and let's take a look at some of what I would call the excuses. Client was not in a rush. You know, you go to the listing presentation, I'm okay if it sells, I'm okay if it doesn't. The client wanted to test the market. Not enough equity in the property. Sometimes you have a great seller who really wants to sell the home. However, they just don't have enough equity in the property to cover all the closing costs, so they end up pricing it a little higher than it should be according to market value. They've made improvements or expenditures. Not all improvements guarantee 100% ROI for the seller. They need money to purchase a replacement property. You know, it's a sell-by, you're all excited. But sometimes the numbers just don't work. My favorite of all time is the seller believes that there's a unique buyer for their home. Somebody who has no idea of market value, probably from another country, who is going to pay an outrageous price just for their home. Now, let's move on from all the excuses and move on to you've got the listing, you did a great job, and now you've got to put your best foot forward. Let's look at 4 easy steps to navigate a price reduction conversation. Step 1, redo the market analysis and then meet with the seller. Now, before you present one, you've got to really go back and crunch the numbers. Let's relook at your comparative market analysis, check your absorption rate, what homes have come on the market, what other inventory is impacting the sale of your home, and where the price really should be. Have those numbers down to a science so you know more than the seller. Once you sit down with the seller and you've presented all of the information on your updated market analysis, you want to ask them a couple of questions. It's time for them to get involved in this process. Ask them, how do you feel the home price compares to the market? Step number 2, present all of the marketing that you've done. Present the completed list of marketing activities. Go through your entire marketing plan and reinforce with the seller that you've done everything you can do to properly market their home. Then ask the seller, do you feel the home has been marketed properly up until this point? If they say yes, you're ready to move on. If they say no, first listen and ask them, what else do you feel we could be doing to market your home effectively or better? Be open to the fact that, hey, sometimes the sellers have great ideas and that you can implement those into your marketing plan and they'll feel like you're on a team together, not that you're resisting their ideas. Now it's time to move on to step 3. It's time for you to present the feedback. Now, feedback is a delicate situation because you want to take the seller's feelings into consideration, but you want to try to be as honest and transparent as possible. So let them know what the buyers are saying about their home. Are there some improvements that they could make that would make an enormous difference in how a buyer feels when they're looking at their property? Now's not the time to go into home improvements because remember, we have that very important next step, which is asking for the price reduction. Step 4, ask for the price reduction. You want to show the sellers that you've done everything possible to create the activity that's already been generated on the property, but now it's time for a price reduction. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, your property will remain unsold if we leave it priced at $700,000. At this point, agents and buyers will begin crossing it off their list because they'll know that it's either overpriced or that you're not willing to work with any offers. At this point, I do recommend that we do a price improvement of 3%. Now, you're probably wondering why I said it in percentage terms. Because sales are always percentage based, right? So if you're going to do a price improvement, do it by a percentage. However, your seller should know what that percentage equals, and you should share it with them. In this case, $21,000 would be your price improvement. Now, this is a monumental time in the marketing of a home. You don't want to do small price reductions and continue to chase the market, ultimately ending up with less money in your seller's pocket. Now is the time to do an aggressive price reduction, price it in a line or a little bit below market value, and watch the home sell. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of RMXP TV. Please like, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe.